91.3 WVKR, independent radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. It's 4 o'clock on the news. You're tuned in to LocalMotion here on 91.3. I'm your host, Rita Ryan. Each and every Wednesday, I'm here from 4 to 6 p.m. If this is your first time tuning into the show, this show is all about music of the Hudson Valley. Musicians that live here, those that come to perform in our area venues, as well as those coming to record in our world-class area recording studios. Show number 265 for me on these airwaves today. And I'm thrilled to be having my guest joining me in about 5 or 6 minutes. Ms. Tara O'Grady will be my guest today. Lots to talk about with her, including her upcoming live stream event tomorrow night, which is happening from the beautiful Howland Cultural Center in Beacon, New York. We'll talk about that in great detail, play some of her music, and talk. That's what we do. So let's see, we're going to start the show off. And, you know, obviously a week from today is St. Patrick's Day. So I'll definitely have to play a song or two by Tara next week as well. But let's start off with one of the most traditional Irish songs that I know, and I'm guessing most of you know as well. Let's take a listen to this classic, which I think you'll recognize. And then when we come back, we will have Tara on the phone here. Thanks for tuning in. 91.3 WVKR.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. 'Tis you must go and I must buy. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be there in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. If you come when all the flowers are dying and I am dead, as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say, and I'll be there for me, and I shall hear those soft you tread above me, and all my dreams simply sleep in peace until you come to me. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so.
91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio Poughkeepsie. Ms. Tara O'Grady. We just heard Danny Boy. Let's get her on the phone. Tara?
Yes.
Hey, there we are. We just heard a beautiful, what a gorgeous version of Danny Boy on Black Irish, your album. Beautiful. Thank you for sending me all this wonderful music maybe last month or whenever you sent it. I greatly appreciate it. I've been enjoying it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to do a brief introduction, if I may, and start out by saying that Tara O'Grady is a singer-songwriter, recording artist, and author. In addition to her 5 albums of jazz, blues, and folk music, she's published her first memoir. Tara was featured in the award-winning BBC documentary film Danny Boy, The Ballad That Bewitched the World, which was nominated for Best Documentary at Ireland's Film and Television Awards in 2014. In 2010, she was awarded Irish Voice's Most Influential Woman presented by Ireland's Prime Minister. Tara will be doing a live stream performance tomorrow, March 11th, from Howland Cultural Center in Beacon. And with that, I officially welcome you to LocalMotion, Tara O'Grady.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I always like to delve deep and start from the beginning of your musical journey in this life. You're from Queens, yes?
I am a Queens girl, born and bred. Yes, indeed.
And you're first generation because your mom came from Ireland.
Yes, my mom actually took a boat in 1957. You couldn't pay me to get on a boat.
Right.
Across the ocean.
Right.
Yeah, from Ireland.
Yeah, my mom did the same in 1953 from Germany. So we kind of have that similar European 50s background thing. Yeah. And I love when I read about how your parents met. Tell us.
Oh, goodness. So it was at a dance. You know, they used to have dances back in the days where people met. And it was in Queens. And I don't know where you saw the story, but the story goes that
I do my homework.
Okay, so she was on it. She's going to kill me if she's listening. She was on a date with a guy who stood her up the week before. She was a bridesmaid at her cousin's wedding, and the guy stood her up. He overslept and never showed up to the wedding. So my mom was dateless at this wedding, and that was like, forget about being stood up any other day, but it was a wedding. And so the guy, he asked if he could make it up to her and take her out the following weekend. And so she said, sure, fine. And he shows up, and they went to this dance, and the whole night she's eyeing the room looking for someone else to dump him for. And she sees my dad at the end of the bar, and she hands her drink. He said, hold this. And she walks over to my dad, and she said, let's get out of here. And he just took her home. That was it.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And the rest is history, of course, and talk about music. They were musical, yes? Your dad was playing the fiddle?
Yes, my dad is a traditional Irish fiddle player. So, you know, all through my childhood, I grew up listening to this traditional music being played in the house. And then when they had house parties, you know, he'd invite other session musicians over, and they were all from Ireland. So I heard I heard all these Irish accents in the home, and the music and the dancing, and you had to perform something in an Irish family. You know, when they have these kitchen parties, you have to be able to sing a song or perform a dance or play an instrument or tell a story or a joke, because it's just part of the Irish culture. So I could carry a tune like most of the women in my family, but I never liked singing an Irish song. there's beautiful Irish music. I just didn't feel it. I was born in New York, so I feel like I was born surrounded by this great American music, and I was listening to songs from the golden age of Hollywood, which a lot of them played jazz and blues, and I was really turned on by all that music. So when my family would ask me, Tara, sing a song, they didn't want to hear me sing a jazz song. So I started singing Irish songs in a jazz way, and that's why I sing Danny Boy like the version you just heard. And they thought it was blasphemous.
Desecrating that music, aren't you? Oh,
Exactly.
No, it was beautiful, beautiful version of it. Did you sing or play an instrument while you were in school, high school or anything?
No, I was into art and dance and the musical theater. It was my brother who played instruments. He was in the orchestra in high school, and then he got a scholarship to university on the saxophone. So he was playing in the jazz orchestra in college, and that greatly influenced me as well. So I was hearing the jazz at home and the Irish, and then I started combining the two in a unique way.
Wow, yeah, you sure did. And in college, you studied television and film?
Yes, I wanted to be like the next Barbara Walters, or in Hollywood. I loved performing, but I ended up going in a different route, and I became an educator. But I was teaching film and drama and musical theater and anything creative, writing, literature. I loved all of it. So it's weird because I was not singing. I had no intention of becoming a musician. That all happened in a really crazy way. I mean, I could always sing. I would sing at parties and for the family, and I sang in the chorus in university. But it wasn't taken seriously until I was in my early 20s, and I went to my eye doctor.
This is the best story I may have ever read regarding a musician. Please tell.
I know it's very unusual. So my eye doctor was only like 1 or 2 years older than me. We were both very young, and actually he was filling in for the doctor that I was used to having. So I see this young doctor, and he's checking my eyeballs, and I noticed his frames, his eyeglasses, and I said, I really like those frames. I need a new pair, so could you write me a prescription with those frames? And he said, no, only jazz musicians can wear these. And I looked at a photograph that he had on his desk, and he was playing guitar. So I realized, he's basically saying, like, he's a jazz musician by night. And I couldn't care less. And I said, well, I lied to him. And I said, I'm a jazz musician, so give me the frames. And he's like, really? He's like, so I'm the type of person who back then I'd say, fake it till you make it. You just got to get what
Absolutely,
you want. Absolutely,
yeah.
And so he said, wow, you're a jazz musician. All right, well, sing me something. And I was like, oh, what do you want to hear? And he said, how about something by Billie Holiday? And I said, who's he? And he was like, yeah, you are not a jazz musician if you don't even know that Billie is one of the greatest female jazz legends in American music. And so he asked me to sing anything. And so I just sang something that I probably heard in a movie. And he said, wow, you actually have a good voice. And so he wrote me what I call a prescription for jazz. And he put down this address. And he told me to go into Manhattan. Every Sunday night, there was this jazz jam with a bunch of Wall Street bankers who were wannabe jazz musicians. And they would just jam, and because they weren't going to quit their day jobs, he figured it was a good environment where I wouldn't feel intimidated, and I could learn how to play with a band, learn about different tunes. So after a year of Sundays, I went every Sunday.
Wow.
And all these guys were like, oh, you should learn this tune that, Lena Horne does, and you should learn this tune that Ella Fitzgerald does. And I bought all the music and all the lyrics and everything. This is before YouTube, because you couldn't just look stuff up.
Yep.
And I went back to my eye doctor after a year for my checkup.
Was it the same young guy that was sitting in?
Yes, it was the same doctor. And I said, I have earn my frames. I now know who Billy is and Ella and Lena and Nina and everybody else. And would you like to start a band? And I played with my eye doctor for the first 13 years of my music career, and he's on that Danny Boy recording.
Greatest.
He made the first album with me.
Amazing. I absolutely love this story. I've never heard anything quite like it out of the 250 people I've interviewed. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I will remember this story the next time I go to my optometrist. I got to tell you, but
the funny thing was one of his patients they read this story in a magazine, and they went to him purposely and said, "I only chose you as my doctor because I want to become a jazz singer just like Tara O'Grady." It was so funny.
Is he still
He's
an
like,
eye doctor?
Sorry, I don't do it.
Is he?
Yeah, he is, but.
Yeah.
During quarantine in the past year, he had COVID. We both had COVID, and he had it really bad. It was scary for him. And because he was not going to the office, he spent much of this year performing at home and just, honing his craft. And, he's been writing original music. So I can't wait to start performing with him again because he's up near the Hudson Valley, which is perfect.
Oh, perfect.
So hopefully we'll be going out together, jamming again.
Yeah, absolutely. Slowly but surely. Looking like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So it really, really feels like we're moving in that direction. So COVID, wow. You're obviously fine now, but sick for a long time from what I understood and read.
Well, yeah, I'm actually what Dr. Fauci referred to as a long hauler, and I had COVID. You're not going to believe this. Today is the anniversary of the last night I performed in Manhattan.
Wow.
So a year ago tonight was my last gig, and I didn't know it because I had a gig scheduled a couple days later, and the whole weekend, and the following, and for St. Patrick's Day. March is my biggest month, being Irish American.
Sure.
And so I was booked, and I had tours planned, and I had flights everywhere. And today I didn't know it. Going to the gig a year ago tonight, I did not know it was going to be the last time I performed live.
Wow.
And then on St. Patrick's Day last year, since my performance was canceled, I drove to my parents' house because they live in Queens in the winter, and they live in Ireland in the summer.
Oh, lovely.
So I went to visit them, and I wore a mask, and they were like, "What are you doing? That's so silly. You're with us, And I just thought, well, it just suddenly everybody's wearing a mask, and I just thought it would be best if I wore it while I was in your house. Thank God I wore it because I didn't know the virus was in me. A few days later, my fever started.
Wow, so you're one of the early
cases.
cases.
I'm so glad that I was protecting my parents. But,
yeah.
Yes, I had it in March through April through May. I had a fever for 21 days.
What? Wow.
It wasn't until summer when I finally stopped having the fever and the immediate symptoms that I felt safe enough to go out and that I wasn't contagious, but I was weak, very weak. So it took me a couple of months to build up my strength, walk a block, walk a mile.
Wow.
All of that, everything was exhausting. And my breath, I had shortness of breath through the autumn. I couldn't sing.
Wow.
And I was weak as a cat. I had no energy. I would still get the warm sensations, like every symptom that the long haulers talk about, I had up through Christmas.
Right.
And so, for the people who are like, oh, it's no big deal, if I get it, it's just like the flu and then I'll be fine. You don't know if you're going to have symptoms for the rest of your life,
right.
or if it's going to affect your lungs or even kill you.
Right.
You never know. It's like
right.
playing Russian roulette.
You know
play
that
with this.
My biggest fear of COVID is the long term implications. That's what I would be worried
you just
about.
Don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be fine or you could be dead.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would rather take the cautious side. Like now, because I had it and because I couldn't get rid of all the symptoms, I am so cautious.
Good.
And I don't want it again because you can obviously get it again.
Yeah, people
and
are.
So,
you're hearing that people are getting reinfected.
Yeah.
What about with vaccinations? Are you getting one, or you're there soon?
I'm waiting patiently. My parents are getting theirs tomorrow. I'm so happy they've finally got an appointment. It was so hard for them to get one. so I'm just going to wait. They said that we'll all be able to get one by May, so I'm staying cautious, and I'm waiting my turn because I don't want, I know there's a lot of people ahead of me, and I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely getting it.
Yeah, wonderful. Oh, good. I'm sorry that you had to suffer so much with it. It's
You know what though? It's like I've learned so much this year, and anytime I was laid off from a job or something happened in my life that was devastating in some way where you felt broken, whether it's illness or a death in the family or whatever thing that comes across your way. I've learned that all these obstacles are here to just teach us lessons.
mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of grateful for the year that I've had where I can step back and take a breath, literally, and reevaluate and figure out what else I want to do on this planet on the short time here. I'm grateful for everything, for every day that the sun shines again and comes out.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, I almost see it as a gift. I know we've had a lot of tragedy and we've lost a lot of people, and it's been hard with businesses and everything else. It's hard for everyone in so many little ways and big ways.
Right.
But I'm still grateful for how it has helped me and others shift our perspective and just see what is really, really important.
Absolutely. And for me, I think too, just like you said, you didn't realize a year ago today would be your last gig. Really don't take anything for granted. What do you think about live music returning and when it finally does? Do you think it's going to be bursting at the seams when Broadway opens and all the concerts and, venues are back to full capacity? What's your thought about what people are going to do?
There's definitely going to be a buzz. I know my dad's listening, and I'm looking out my window right now, and there's a red cardinal, and it's a very important symbol for the both of us because he knows what that means. So, hi, Dad. There's a red cardinal outside my window. I haven't seen one in days, so it's really nice to see.
And it's a nice sunny day too.
Sign. Yeah, maybe it's a sign. Like I know that once we get back to performing, I have a feeling that people are so starved of live music and also I have a feeling like I'm envisioning that the first concert that people go to, they're going to have an emotional, spiritual experience, and I imagine them being so emotional that they're going to break down crying just because they're so filled with joy and like I can't believe this is happening,
Yeah.
But even for the musicians, like the musicians will be so thrilled on stage, and the audience will be so thrilled, and it's going to be a love fest.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to like Broadway too. I love theater, and when that finally happens again, I mean, all of it. It's just the arts in general because it's been hit so hard, and it's the one thing that, I mean, people can still start to go out to eat now, but you're still not able to go to a concert. You're still not able to, go to Broadway. So this is the one part of this pandemic that's really been the longest affected.
Yes, but I think people will appreciate the arts more. They'll also appreciate the teachers and education more. They'll appreciate nurses more. They'll appreciate everything, even just being able to go to a supermarket and not have to wear a mask or anything else like that. Like it's so many little things and big things they're going to appreciate more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
So it's like my family in Ireland, though, they're still in lockdown. They haven't been able to leave their homes since like November, and it's much more strict than it is here.
Yes, it is.
They can't even drive beyond, like more than a mile or two from their home. And I'm hearing stories of people just driving to the food store and then having the police pull them over and giving them $100 fine because they're not allowed to leave their homes.
Yeah.
So that's devastating. And we have a lot more freedom in America, but unfortunately, I think there's too many people going out having a good time and not wearing masks here in America. And I just want people to be cautious because, it's coming. We've been patient this long. Just wait a little bit longer till we get the vaccine, and then we're going to party.
Then we'll party like it's, 1999.
Ha!
Oh,
Exactly.
gosh, yeah. So the Hudson Valley is new to you as far as you living here.
Yes, but like more than just living here. I mean, I'd occasionally have a gig that would bring me up this way, but I usually, when I traveled, I would go to Ireland or New Orleans or wherever to perform, or if I was within New York State, I basically just drove up to the Adirondacks where I've spent all my summers as a kid because my aunt has a house there. So I would never stop between Queens and Lake Placid. I would never stop unless I stopped on 87 just to get a sandwich or something. So I never got to explore what was in between because I was heading even farther north. So right. I never saw Beacon until I drove up here last summer when I was looking to leave New York City, and I fell in love. Mm-hmm. Like, it was love at first sight the moment I drove on Main Street. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm moving here. This is it.
Yeah, it's a wonderful little town. Just south of you, too, Cold Spring is just so picturesque.
Oh, I love Cold Spring, too.
It's a beautiful, beautiful area. And, Beacon, you would not recognize Beacon had you been here maybe 20 years ago. That's
what I keep getting told.
Nothing like it is now. It's kind of like you kind of didn't want to go on Main Street in Beacon. So it's come a long way for sure. And, wonderful place. There's great music there. There's great museum. You got beautiful Dia there, great art galleries, and of course the Howland Cultural Center, which is just an iconic place. And the history behind that building is gorgeous. Tell me how you hooked up with those guys.
Well, it was actually one of the first times that when I came up in July to look around and I saw the Howland Center, I was in awe. I took pictures of it, and when I came back in August after I found an apartment, I went in and they had an art show, and I thought, oh my gosh, there's actually something open, and I can go inside and look at art, and it was so surreal. So I was looking at the paintings on the wall, and I remember I said to my mom was with me, because I was showing her the town that I was moving to. And I said, I'm going to sing here one day. And I just knew that was going to happen. I just sensed it. I felt it in my spirit. And when I moved to Beacon, I met a few artists and musicians and dancers within my first few weeks. And one of them was filmmaker John Slackman. Hi, John. I know he's listening.
Hi, John.
He's a drummer, and he also has a film company called Five Corner Films. And so when we were introduced in the first weekend of September, he listened to some of my music, and then he asked if I wanted to make some music videos. And I was like, sure, I've got nothing else to do. And that's what started this collaboration with making all of these music videos all over the Hudson Valley. And we were filming during the most gorgeous season. It was autumn and the leaves were changing, and he was showing me all around from Garrison to Cold Spring to Wappingers Falls to across the Hudson. And we filmed everywhere, and we did a number of songs. And then because we kept posting them, the Howland Cultural Center took notice. And they said, these are like works of art. And would you two be willing to create a show and present your works, your collaboration through the Howland Cultural Center? And we said, sure. And they said, because you're a jazz vocalist, why don't we turn it into like a concert performance? And they asked me to include guitarist Tony DiPaolo, who's phenomenal.
Yes, he is.
So we were brainstorming all of these ideas, and I realized that we had, through our music videos, we had basically captured the seasons, the 4 seasons, and there's so many great songs, jazz songs in the songbook related to the seasons. So I thought, I told Tony some of the songs that I wanted to do with him, and so we're presenting. The show is called Tara O'Grady, Howland at the Howland.
Love it.
And this will be episode 1, which is Seasons of Love. And it's, I'm telling people it's not your average cell phone concert, live stream.
No.
It's highly produced. It could easily be on, a network. and we really hope that people tune in because we want to. I already sent John my ideas for the next episodes. And
is this going to be a monthly episode or?
Well, we put so much work into it in terms of filming and editing that I don't know if we could squeeze it out in another month because we have other great artists that we want to interview and collaborate with, and so there'll always be the live music component.
Yeah.
But there's a segment of the show where I collaborate with a local artist. So John Slackman is the featured local artist as a filmmaker, and my collaboration with him. But the future episodes, I'm hoping to collaborate with other art forms from pattern design to clothing design to photography to painting to sculpture, everything you can imagine. And so I would be working with those artists in the episodes, learning about their craft, but also me creating with them in fun ways. Mm-hmm. So we have all these great ideas, but it takes a lot of time to film and edit, and so I can't promise that anything's coming out in a month. Plus, we still have restrictions, with the COVID and the mask, and it's hard to film when you're you constantly have to have a mask on, but we want to take it off on camera, so we have to keep apart from each other.
Right.
So,
right.
These are the issues that we're dealing with.
Yeah, yeah. And this is tomorrow night and March 11th. And how do folks tune in?
So they have to go to HowlandCulturalCenterTix.com, and then they can order to watch the live stream tomorrow, which is at 8:00 on the 11th, Thursday night. And if they can't, because a lot of people, I have fans who are in Europe and other places, and they also, people have actual lives, and if they're not available to watch it live, they can watch it on demand and order the on-demand ticket from the 12th through the 25th. So for 2 weeks it'll play if they order the tickets through the Howland. Or you can go to my website, also TaraO'GradyMusic.com, and I've got all the information up there, and they can watch a promo video of it, which is a lot of fun too.
Yeah. I posted that yesterday. Very, very cute. Loved it. So that's tomorrow night. Howland is really doing wonderful things. So I'm glad you're part of this. And Tara O'Grady, Howland at the Howland, Seasons of Love, episode 1 tomorrow night, 8 p.m. And it's nice, like you said, if you're busy tomorrow night or it slipped your mind or something else came up all of a sudden, because, life happens, at least it's on demand for 2 weeks. So you can still purchase your ticket online and watch it anytime if you don't have the availability to do so tomorrow evening. So, exciting.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. That's good because people were like, "I'm on a Zoom call. Can we see it another time?" And so the Howland was gracious to create an on-demand link.
Yeah.
So just make sure you order the right one because there's two choices there. So either the live stream at 8 p.m. or the on-demand. They're next to each other. So. Right. Choose wisely.
Make sure you be careful before you click. Gosh, we've all done that. I've ordered 2 refrigerators online before by accident, so be very careful.
The Howland said, they also don't want people tuning in 5 minutes late because the intro. Mm-hmm. They love the intro because it's an homage to the Howland and the history of the Howland, and so you don't want to miss that.
Oh, nice! It really truly is. I've been to see many classical concerts there because, of course, they have the chamber music there, and the acoustics there are just spectacular. And there's not a bad seat in the house, even sitting up top, sitting there in the hallway, wherever you may be at Howland. It is quite an extraordinary building, that's for sure. Tara,
I can't wait till we can go in there and with an audience in the future. That's going to be really magnificent.
Absolutely, it will. Your CDs are just so lovely. The first one you said, Danny Boy, which is what we heard. This was your debut, yes?
Yes, in 2010, Black Irish. It's all Irish songs that I swing with a jazz band, trumpet and sax. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Great photography in here as well, and I love the style, which is like from the Roaring '20s here. So really, really cool. As is looks like all of this other. I've played a few off of folk songs. This is another release that you came out with, I believe, in 2017. I've played a few off of here as well. Yeah.
And then the title and it's not a folk CD, but I got the title because Louis Armstrong once said, "All music is folk music. I ain't never heard a horse sing a song." So I just thought, I love Louis Armstrong, and
Me too.
really, we are folks. We're all folks making music,
Yeah.
and so it's basically about this. That CD is I wrote songs about real folks, like people, like everyone from Michelle Obama to Elvis Presley to Laurence Olivier. So I've got like two people that I know. So I didn't know those people.
Yeah. But still, you admired them, so that's cool. And you also published a memoir. Tell me about that.
Yes. So everybody's got a memoir in them, but this is a specific story. So it's the book is called Migrating Toward Happiness, the soundtrack to my spiritual awakening. And there is a soundtrack within it with each chapter title, because I couldn't not, connect everything to music. And the chapter titles start with Billie Holiday's Solitude to Billy Joel's New York State of Mind to Don McLean's American Pie, which he wrote when he was living in Cold Spring. Some people don't know that.
Ah, nice.
So basically the memoir is a slice of life, a snap shot of a journey that I took when I was laid off from my job at Lincoln Center, and I ended up taking a cross-country road trip, replicating my Irish grandmother's 1957 road trip, which she took in a Chevy Bel Air, which is my all-time favorite car.
Oh.
And so she was from Ireland. She didn't have a driver's license. My grandfather said she didn't need one and that she could walk to church and walk the kids to school. And so she, as a redhead and a strong woman, independent, she said she secretly got her driver's license and took his car for 7 weeks and drove all the way to Spokane, Washington, stopping along the way through the Badlands and Yellowstone. She called him, it's from Yellowstone, and he this was 4 weeks into the journey, and it was the first time that she'd called home.
Oh my.
And he said, "I thought you were dead." Because he's like, because she slept in the car, and she had this amazing adventure on the road. And my dad.
And what year was
16,
this? What year was
1957.
Wow.
In a Bel Air.
Man.
And my dad was 16, so he was with her, and they slept in the car. And he told me the stories that they would like catch fish and cook it over an open fire, and they'd check into a motel maybe every 3 days to take a bath and have an actual bed. And he told me this great, amazing journey that he had with his mother. And then, unfortunately, a few years later, she died of cancer. So I never met her.
Mm.
And I was told these stories my whole life by my dad, how there's just this great adventure of driving across America. And so when I lost my job in 2011, I wanted to take this journey, but I had just lost my job. I didn't have money to, rent a Bel Air to take it across country and stay in hotels and all this. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I had been teaching creativity and imagination for I don't know how many years at Lincoln Center, and I thought, I will use my creativity and find a solution. So I wrote a song, and I made a music video, and I put pictures of my granny's road trip in it from 1957, and I sent it to GM headquarters in Detroit, and I asked Chevrolet, would they sponsor me and lend me a ride? And they responded, and they said, do you want a Silverado, a Camaro, or an SUV?
Oh,
and I said, I want all three.
What?
And they gave me everything. They gave me money for the hotels, and they gave me gas money to last the whole ride. And I ended up taking my best friend, who was a redhead like my granny, and she documented the whole thing with photos. And we I totally connected to my grandmother's spirit on the road, and I was hearing music in my head the whole time. And it's a very spiritual journey because here, this is a woman I've never met, but her spirit was with me the entire time.
Undoubtedly.
And so, yeah, so there's a full soundtrack, and if you look at the chapter titles, that would be a great playlist for you to play because it's really, it's everyone from Willie Nelson to Johnny Cash to Elvis Presley to, Dinah Shore and everybody.
Wow. Yeah.
Emmylou Harris. I mean, everybody. And so I wrote the book when I got back, and I only published it recently.
And how long was your trip?
Chevy gave me a deadline. They would not let me go for 7 weeks the way my grandmother did because they said that, the vehicles they saw it as a rental even though I wasn't paying.
Right.
But they needed to have these were like trucks that they would give to charity events and they had deadlines for them. So they only gave me 3 weeks. So I had to drive like 10 hours a day.
Yeah. Just
to race. I went all the way to Seattle and then I had to come back. And, but it's this was during, this was Obama was in office, and there were still differences in America. There were still, the issues that we have today. There's lots of division, but like I met so many Americans on the road and from all walks of life, from every party and every race and every creed and, everything. And everybody was amazing. And, when you meet people face to face on the road and you talk to each other about your dreams and you realize how connected you are.
Right. Yep.
And that you're all about the same thing. You want to work hard, you want to earn your money, you want to take care of your family. And, I was basically trying to see if the American dream still existed, the one that my grandmother came to America for. And I realized that everyone in America had this idea of hope. And it was, it was just a really inspiring journey. And like, when you stop looking at the news and watching each other and beating each other up on Twitter and you get out there and you sit in diners with people and you actually talk to them face to face, that's when you realize, that you can, like, this illusion and this hatred and this division and everything, it dissolves when you just put away the cell phone and have a real conversation and a cup of coffee.
Right.
And you just find out that we all just want to be loved.
Yes.
That's really what it comes down to.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the end of the day, we're all much more similar than we are different. And absolutely agree with you. Well, that sounds like a trip you'll have to do again sometime, Tara. It sounds amazing and eye-opening and adventurous. And I mean, there's nothing like travel. So unfortunately, now might not be the time. But, hey, maybe sometime in the future, man. Talk to Chevy, see what they got for next year.
Oh no, I have stuff in the works, and I'm talking to Hollywood, and so there's stuff that's going to be stirring up once we get back in the swing of things. So I can't wait. It's all music related and travel related, and
beautiful
promoting American music.
Absolutely, with a little hint of Irish in it.
Oh yeah, you can't get rid of that.
No. Absolutely. Tara, it's been a pleasure. Tara O'GradyMusic.com. Tomorrow night, you can see you perform right from the comfort of your own home, online. Howland Cultural, Your Seasons of Love, Episode 1, March 11th, 8 p.m. And you can purchase your ticket at howlandculturalcenter.org. It's a beautiful thing. And if you can't make it tomorrow, like we were saying earlier, you can buy the ticket and then you'll have 2 weeks in which to view it. So if you can't make it tomorrow, I mean, this sounds like it's a do not miss, you can't go wrong.
You don't want to miss it. It's magic.
It is magic.
John knows, he loves that word. It's magic. It's going to be magic.
And the great Tony DiPaolo will be joining you on guitar, as well as John Slackman doing the video to that. So you've got a great collaboration there with those two. And it's been such a pleasure talking with you. I'm going to play a few more of your tracks. What I have coming up, and you can tell us about it, Letters from Larry.
Oh, you want me to tell you now?
Yeah, tell me now. Because I'm going to let you go, and then I'm just going to keep playing your tracks of music. So tell me about what we got coming up next.
Letters from Larry is a song that I wrote, and it's actually going to be in the show tomorrow night. It's one of the first music videos that John Slackman wanted to record with me here in the Hudson Valley because he loved the eerie guitar on it, played by Pete Kennedy of the Kennedys. Mm-hmm. And the lyrics I got from Laurence Olivier's Love Letters to Vivian Leigh.
For
those for the people not familiar with those two, she was Scarlett O'Hara, and he was the Shakespearean actor, and they were madly in love. And he wrote these very naughty love letters to her that I found in a London newspaper online, and they were so raunchy and so sensual, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" So I basically borrowed his words and put it into a love song called Letters from Larry.
Oh, wow. I look forward to sharing that with everybody. We'll be playing that next. And then I'm also going to play I Could Use a Hero These Days.
Oh, yes. I wrote those. I wrote the lyrics to the Hero song, and I wanted to put them on a Nashville album. And Nashville told me that the lyrics were too smart and that they didn't include pickup trucks or getting drunk or losing your lady. And because I was writing about how I wanted, someone who, like a man who could step up to the plate and actually, be chivalrous and not be your average guy. And they were like, nope, this ain't going to cut it. So they rejected it, and I put it on my folk song CD, and it's actually considered one of the best. And so it's a country song. It's not jazz.
I love it.
It's country.
I love it. Well, that's what folks these days play. It's a little bit of everything. So yeah. So we're gonna spin some of your music. As I mentioned, closer to 6, I'll do another track. And I just thank you for your time here today and wish you the utmost of continued success. I'm so glad COVID, you got through it and you're working your way through. And welcome to the Hudson Valley.
Thank you, Rita.
You're quite welcome.
I can't wait. I can't wait till we can all be together and have a big old party.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Look forward to meeting you in person someday and seeing a show. So thank you for your time here today, Ms. Tara. And let's play some of your music now.
All righty.
All right. You have a good rest of your day. And again, thanks for your time. Tara O'Grady Music. All right. You take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, folks, Tara O'Grady. Let's take a listen to some of her music, as promised, right here, right now, on 91.3 WVKR.
I woke raging with desire and burning in hell's fire. Oh dear God, how I want you, my love. I am naked and exposed, fighting all my friends and foes. Oh dear God, how I want you, my love. My soul adores you, my throat aches for you. Dear God, how I want you, my love. Losing my mind, wanting you, manic, mad and taunting you. Oh dear God, how I want you, my love. You're the ghost in my head, the dagger in my bed, the answer to the question, to be or not to be. We're a popular scandal, but one I long to handle, and I've come to the conclusion you are very naughty. kissed backstage when you smelled like wild sage. I implore you, quit your spouse and marry me. I'll be your pleasure, your toy, your sincerest Larry boy. I implore you, quit your spouse and marry me. My viper, my vixen, my dangerous kitten. I implore you, quit your spouse and marry me. Like Ophelia, you are mad, sometimes lovely, often sad. But I implore you, quit your spouse and marry me. Under 10 marks for moon, we learned how to swoon. I unpack my heart with words just like a whore. And beside the Baltic Sea, alongside ancient tapestries, oh my darling, my dear Viv, will always have Elsinore. You're the great love of my life. You were meant to be my wife. I implore you, quit your spouse and marry me. How like an angel, like a god, give old Shakespeare his due nod. But 'tis you, Viv, and not man, that delights me. They say chivalry is ended. Well, I say, why did we extend it? 'Cause I could use a hero these days. Crickets risk their lives to protect evolutionary edge, I suspect. I can't even get a fellow who pays. Where are all the men with flowers climbing up those stone wall towers, picking me up at my front door? Now I always have to compete, spend all their time composing a tweet. Honey, you're becoming a bore. Sweep me off my feet, make me weak in the knees. Come on, show me you're the one. Look me in the eye, you're one hell of a guy. Let's just have us some fun. Like a man who's got some confidence, takes a genuine risk if he dares. One who says what he means and means what he says. 'Cause I could use a hero these days. Charm school, go around acting like some dang fool. Oh, just please take a chance. I've been standing in this bar for too long. Your liquid courage won't last through this song. Honey, just ask me to dance. Sweep me off my feet, make me weak in the knees. Come on, show me you're the one. Look me in the eye, you're one hell of a guy. Let's just have us some fun. Yeah! risky if he dares. One who says what he means and means what he says. 'Cause I could use a hero these days. Like a man who's got some confidence, takes a genuine risk if he dares. One who says what he means and means what he says. 'Cause I could use a hero these days. Haven't met a lot of heroes these days. No, there's not too many heroes these days. Where are all those men? Hello? Where y'all hiding? Ah, come on.
91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Where are they? Where are they? TaraO'GradyMusic.com. We just heard I Could Use a Hero These Days off her release titled Folk Songs, songs about real people. And we also heard Letters from Larry off the same release. Thank you to Tara O'Grady for being my guest during the 4 o'clock hour. You can see her perform tomorrow, a live stream from the Howland Cultural Center in Beacon, 8 p.m. It's called Tara O'Grady Howlin' at the Howland, Seasons of Love. And this will be online. You can go to howlandculturalcenter.org for Tara O'Grady's show tomorrow night, and it starts at 8 p.m. And as she said, if you can't make it tomorrow, you can purchase your ticket, but you'll be able to live stream the event for 2 weeks after it happens. So sounds like it's a super fun event. So check out Tara O'Grady. And if you missed part of this interview with her as well, I'll be uploading it tonight on my YouTube channel, as well as the LocalMotion Facebook page. And it'll be available as a podcast on about 7 or 8 different streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Music, and so on. Just look for LocalMotion. And again, thank you to Tara O'Grady. We are starting the 5 o'clock hour here, and I'll start off by saying you are tuned to 91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, broadcasting live from the beautiful campus at Vassar College. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, whether it's on the dial at 91.3 or online at WVKR. However it is you're here, appreciate you being here. If you're just finding this show for the first time, this show is all about music of the Hudson Valley, musicians that live here, those coming to record here, and those coming to perform in our area venues. Last week's guest, a lot of fun to talk to, John Burdick, of the Sweet Clementines, of the Seed Project, of Unitas, of HV1. He's got a lot of different things going on for sure. I want to play a track. I'll start off the next hour with a track of his by Seed Project. Let's take a listen right here, right now to Complicate, 91.3.
Said that all the girls in the promising bands are floated by a bloody hand, but I'm not sure if it's always been that way. But I've been around Green Lawn for far too long to believe their flow is anything more than a quarter pound of white prerogative. Never believe the victors when they're selling you the secrets that made them who they think they are today. Behind the squinting eyes of westerns, and there's a company man buttoned in. The left and the right, old college friends, like Gore Vidal said. Such a dream when they sing their songs. Such a dream when they talk of fates foregone. Are they all? Would you like a night to complicate? Would you like a night to complicate?
Would another man give me more? No, no. Please believe me when I tell you, baby. Oh, yeah. You fill my heart with so much joy. The man I see is marvelous to me. The only love I need is yours.
91.3 WVKR, 5:07 p.m. Willa Vincitor, brand new single, The Only Love I Need Is Yours. Thanks for sending my way. I've been playing this a couple of times already and digging it. New music, Willa Vincitor. Say that 3 times fast. We also heard new music from Seed Project, which is comprised of Sammy Niss, Peter Nadeo, Frank McGinnis, Adam Stoutenberg, Jesse Alexander, and last week's guest here on LocalMotion, John Burdick. Released back in January, Seed Project available at all your usual download spots, as well as Bandcamp. Bandcamp is apparently the website that really is supporting musicians. So check out Bandcamp and Seed Project. And thank you again to John Burdick with last week's interview. He's a busy man. He's part of HV1, so he's an amazing writer and music critic, and also performs with the Sweet Clementines and now Seed Project. And he also has a new release coming out. Maybe we'll give that a spin next week. Unitas. There you go. That's better. We'll spin that next week. And also received new music, first time on air here at WVKR, from Jeff Halloran. Let's take a listen to him right here, right now. 91.3.
Give me that slow kiss, baby, to gratify myself. Give me that slow kiss, yeah. Oh, that's what I want. Give me that slow kiss, baby, to gratify myself. Give me that slow kiss, yeah. I saw her walking, she got me girl to go. The way she moves, she talked to me from the start to the sun. Until she gives me, funk up past my bones. And baby, what you do to me, oh Lord. Give me that soul kiss, baby, to gratify myself. Give me that soul kiss, yeah. Oh, that's what I want. Give me that soul kiss, baby, to gratify myself. Give me that soul kiss, yeah. Oh, what you give me, you seem to be crazy. Baby, soul kiss on it, babe, I'll bring you to your knees. Please be my lady till the end of time. Gotta have you, girl. You're my soul kiss, baby. To gratify myself, give me that soul kiss, yeah. That's what I want. Soul kiss, baby. To gratify myself, give it to me.
'Cause everything comes and goes, no telling where the winds will blow. It's all temporary. When you find yourself on top, hanging with the winners and the cream of the crop, it's all just temporary. Remember that money don't make the man, as long as you're doing everything you can. It's all just temporary. 'Cause everything comes and goes, no telling where the winds will blow. It's all temporary. Vexing in your vanity, wasting your time, seeking to find victory. Some time alone might do you some good. It's all just temporary. 'Cause everything comes and goes, no telling where the winds will blow. It's all temporary. 'Cause everything begins and ends. Don't get caught up chasing the wind. It's all temporary. It's all just temporary. It's all temporary. It's all
.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. The very talented Mr. Andy Stack from Buffalo Stack, single called Temporary. Buffalo Stack, he's also got his recording studio, Buffalo Stack Productions. That's also out of Beacon. Andy Stack, super talented guitarist, singer, songwriter. Up until COVID hit, he was playing on Broadway. And I forgot the name of the play. I'm trying to think of it. The one with the Bob Dylan songs. Forgot the name. But he of course, got sidelined and has been for the past year. So Andy Stack will be playing Sunday. He'll be doing a Sunday brunch, Beacon. Today's theme of this show must be Beacon, with Tara O'Grady being my guest and her performing at Howland Cultural. And now talking about Andy Stack will be playing Sunday brunch at the beautiful and legendary Town Crier Cafe right on Main Street in Beacon. Reservations are always suggested. They have the salon stage open for now and very nicely distanced. They're doing all the safety protocols. towncrier.com. You can also get on their mailing list and see what's happening there. And we also heard, for the first time on this show anyway, Jeffrey Halloran, The Soul. And we heard Soul Kiss. Thank you, Jeffrey, for sending this my way. I hope you got a chance to hear it. If not, hopefully you'll be able to hear it on the replay. A wonderful CD. And thank you, Jeffrey, for sending it my way. I appreciate that. All right, it's 5:17. You're tuned into Local Motion. I am your host, Rita Ryan, here each and every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. If you're on YouTube, you'd like to subscribe, you can keep up with all the videos I post of either live music or perhaps the interviews here. I'm noted on YouTube as Rita Ryan Local Motion, and as well as all streaming platforms as well. Local Motion. And we've got two wonderful back-to-back performers coming up next, and both of these guys will be playing this weekend at the Falcon in Marlborough. Let's start off with this guy who'll be there Friday night, 91.3 WVKR. Let's take a listen to James Maddock.